Look at this guy commenting on every grooming post that if you weren't born with the genetics of a Greek god, you're doomed to be ugly forever and play the game of life on legend mode. Well, in this video, I'll tell you how to go from a 5 to a 10 with a system of just 7 steps. 1. The importance of genetics. Is it possible for someone known for their physical attractiveness to have a child with completely opposite features? The case of Viggo Mortensen and his son Henry Mortensen makes it clear that genetics don't always rule. Viggo, remembered as a symbol of masculine attractiveness thanks to his role in The Lord of the Rings, stands out for his chiseled jawline and well-defined facial structure. However, Henry, his son, has a completely different appearance. This contrast shows that genes aren't everything. Although Henry inherited Viggo's DNA, factors like lifestyle, daily habits, and facial development have a huge impact. Now, to flip the case around, there's the story of Eugenio Derbez and Vadir Derbez. Even though they share the same gene, the differences are brutal. Eugenio has a less defined jaw and a longer face, while Vadir stands out with a more harmonious structure and features that many consider attractive. What happened here? The difference lies in habit. Eugenio, during his youth, grew up in a time when there wasn't much information about physical and facial. In contrast, Vadir adopted a lifestyle focused more on exercise, healthy eating, and aesthetics, which ended up reflecting in his appearance. These examples make it clear that genetics set the foundation, but it's your habits and lifestyle that shape the outcome. 2. Cultural features. One of the biggest mistakes I've noticed in men trying to improve their attractiveness is the absurd need to lighten their skin. They go out wearing a hoodie even when it's 30. They use a ton of cream or internet trick, or they simply avoid going outside at that unhealthy pale color that disappears as soon as they return to normal. Bro, you look ridiculous. If you had to quickly decide which of these two faces is darker, which one would you choose? Believe it or not, both have exactly the same tone if we only look at the pixel. But if you thought the one on the left was dark, you fell into the trap of how our mind associates ethnic features with skin color. This effect happens because, without realizing, we associate certain facial features with darker skin tone, even when that's not the case. For example, many people would describe this man's European features as someone with dark skin, even though his skin might actually be lighter than many men considered light skin. Our brain has gotten used to making these associations, culture, language, and experiences with different ethnic, which creates a distorted perception. This example is enough to realize that locking yourself in your room for 30 days to lighten your skin is useless if your facial features don't match. The best thing you can do is accept your features and focus on enhancing. If your features are more like Michael B. Jordan, why would you want Leonardo DiCaprio's haircut from 1996? It won't look natural. So stop making a fool of yourself and enhance what you are. Number 3. Being attractive gives you advantages. If you've ever wondered how important appearance is, Jeremy's story makes it crystal clear. This guy went from being in prison to becoming a top-level model, all because of his face. That's how the world works, even if many hate to admit it. In 2014, Jeremy was at rock bottom. Years of family problems, addictions, and a history of multiple arrests had led him to spend more than a decade behind bars. But on June 17th of that year, everything changed. He got arrested again, but this time he had no idea his life was about to take a brutal turn. Turns out the police had implemented a new policy of uploading detainee photos to social media, and that's where everything blew up. Jeremy's photo went viral within hours. His face drew so much attention that in less than a week, he already had more than 45 job offers as a model and actor. In the blink of an eye, he went from being behind bars to a life full of luxury. He surrounded himself with powerful people and even ended up married to Chloe Green, a billionaire. No one cared about his record. His violence charges were forgotten. The only thing that mattered was his appearance. And here comes the real point. If you improved your image, you could also change your destiny like Jeremy did. I'm not telling you to become attractive and immediately start living a life without moral limits. But it's interesting how something as superficial as appearance can influence things so much that it changes the course of your life and gives you an advantage over others that seems absurd. Number 4, position your tongue correct. Most people make a mistake. They try to improve their facial structure with oral habits. They think they have to press their tongue hard against the palate all day, but that doesn't work. The correct way is to create suction so that the tongue stays in place effortlessly. To achieve this, first seal your lips well and keep your teeth in light contact. Then you have to swallow several times, placing the tip of your tongue on the end spot. Called that because it's where the tongue naturally rests when pronouncing the the letter N. This point is located just behind the upper teeth, at the front of the palate. This will drain saliva and make the tongue stick to the palate without needing to apply force. The biggest benefit of this suction is that it can be maintained automatically as long as your mouth stays closed, which means your facial structure will keep improving even while you sleep or work. To maintain it, you just need to keep swallowing about 2 to 5 times per minute. Most people do it wrong, but when done correctly, it's one of the most effective methods for changing the shape of your face. If, on the other hand, you think keeping your tongue in the right position is about strength and not technique, you'll end up with tooth and jaw pain in the long run. You could even ruin your posture or the position of your teeth. So remember that this simple habit should never cause you pain or discomfort. 5. Get rid of dry lips. If you notice your lips are dry all the time, besides looking bad, they can also hurt. The first thing most people do is apply moisturizer, but that just covers up the problem without solving it. You become dependent on the product and keep having wrecked lips every time you don't use it. The real reason your lips get dry is because at some point during the day, you breathe through your mouth. Every time air passes through there, it takes away moisture and leaves your skin cracked. The only real way to fix this is to get used to breathing only through your nose. If you wake up with dry lips or a stuffy nose, that means you were breathing through your mouth while you slept, which can also make you snore. This habit not only ruins the hydration of your lips, but also affects sleep quality and even the structure of your face over time. To avoid it, you have to become aware of your breathing and correct. Also, drinking more water and eating foods with healthy fats like eggs and avocado helps keep your skin well nourished and resistant to dryness. 6. Low testosterone face. Did you know that having a recessed face can be related to low testosterone level? This hormone is key for developing features, a strong jawline, thick eyebrow, and a prominent brow bone. When testosterone is high, the face looks more defined and masculine. But if you live a lazy and careless lifestyle, your levels drop and it shows in a flabby, undefined face. If you want to raise your testosterone to optimal level, 800 to 900 nanograms per deciliter, there are 2 key factors you can't ignore. And here, there's no room for error. Any slip-up can affect the result. The first problem is diet. If you eat processed food and don't get enough micronutrients, your testosterone plummets. The solution is to cut out everything that comes in a packet and focus on natural food. If you can also consume organic products, even better. I know buying organic food can be expensive. There's even that fear that those products you think are organic might not be and just have a higher price tag with no added value. So if you want to take that step, what I recommend is to go personally and make sure that the process those animals go through matches what you're being offered. In Latin countries, we have the advantage that eating health is cheaper than buying processed junk, and it's easier to find small producers who don't load their vegetable fruits with harmful chemicals or who feed their animals in a more natural way. So there's no excuse. If you stop wasting money on outings to McDonald's, sugary cereals for breakfast, and alcohol on weekends, I guarantee you'll have enough money to improve your diet once and for all. The second factor is the lack of sun and exercise. A rusty body doesn't produce hormones properly, which affects your appearance. The solution is to move your body with a high-intensity routine. Train in the gym 4 to 6 times a week, add 3 sessions of all-out sprints, and include at least 20 minutes of sun exposure every day. The best thing you can do is get sunlight in the morning, since the afternoon sun is too intense and not as enjoyable as the cool morning air. Plus, that little action gives you energy for the rest of the day. If you apply this without failing, your testosterone will rise and your face will show it, becoming more attractive and masculine. Number 7, the importance of aligned teeth. The alignment of your teeth has a direct impact on your facial appearance. A wide smile with well-aligned teeth can define the face, while a narrow palate and crowded teeth affect both the aesthetics and functionality of the face. The interesting thing is that our ancestors didn't need orthodontics. Studies of hunter-gatherer skulls show wide dental arches and perfectly aligned teeth, even the third molars, wisdom teeth. In contrast, more than 80% of today's population suffers from some degree of dental crowd. This problem isn't so much about genetics as it is about modern habit. In the past, the diet consisted of unprocessed foods that required long hours of chewing daily between 2 and 6 hours. This strengthened the jaws and expanded the dental arches, allowing the teeth to align naturally. Today, with diets based on soft processed foods and lacking in micronutrients, the chewing effort has dropped to an average of 30 minutes a day, which limits jaw development. A 1983 study proved it with squirrel monkeys. Those fed soft food developed small jaws and crooked teeth, while those fed their usual diet maintained wide arches and aligned teeth. The same principle applies to humans. To improve the bone structure of the face and promote dental alignment, it's essential to switch to a diet based on natural, nutrient-rich foods that require a lot of chewing. You can also incorporate use of high-resistance, sugar-free chewing gum as part of your daily routine. Chewing between 5 and 20 minutes after meals strengthens the jaw and a balance. Avoid chewing devices. These products are not just a marketing strategy, but can alter the natural chewing, cause headache, asymmetry, and problems in the temporomandibular joint. Chewing gum is a much safer and more effective option since it simulates the chewing of real food. Adopting these habits will impact your smile and help you develop a more harmonious, refined face over time. Genetics are important, yes, habits are even more important. Instead of focusing on your less favorable traits that come from your genetic, focus on everything that is within your control. Eating well, training, breathing correct. These are simple, every man apply. You don't need to complicate. And remember, there are no magic solutions. The only thing that can change overnight is surgery. But becoming dependent varied. So before making such big decisions, focus first on these daily habits. Because after achieving an aesthetic body, low body, and high testosterone, I don't think you'll still be worrying that the left side of your face isn't as symmetrical as the right side. If you want to learn more about how to become attractive, subscribe and hit the like button.